The Newsround on Off the Ball.
With Gillette. Start your day in flow with the new Gillette Labs razor with exfoliating bar.
This is News Talk.
Nathan, welcome along. Great to have you with us. So, busy show. Mr. Graham Hunter will be on the football show between 9 and 10. Barcelona play Real Madrid Thursday. There are interesting matters on and off the pitch, so Graham will take us through them all. This hour, Brian O'Driscoll in studio. And between 8 and 9, we have A Slight Tangent coming at you, which is very exciting and unexpected. Michael McCarthy here in studio as well. Hello.
What was unexpected about it?
I just think that slot should be, sent out to pasture.
Do you? Yeah, that's interesting. That's the first I'm hearing of it.
I'd cut it.
Yeah.
Richie McCormack with us. Hello.
Unexpected because it's coming at you like Cleopatra.
Well, indeed. Can I give you one of the topics, Richie?
Is it the greatest hits of Cleopatra?
It's not.
All right, I guess you might as well go on then.
Somebody emailed into A Slight Tangent at offtheball.com, and they were wondering about most irritating sporting cliches, which was a topic right up my street. So, Tony was the emailer, and he was bemoaning, for instance, use of phrases like an honest pro as opposed to, dishonest pro. And so wanted to know, were there any that irritated us? The one I always find overused, and therefore to the point of irritation, is character.
Yeah.
As I said to you last week, there has not been a sliotar caught in the last 20 years that was not down to character. What character? They scream. I would find that reductive.
Yeah.
And silly.
Be interested if Richie has one, but I always think that I amn't able to think of any, which makes me immediately think that I am prone to them, or I am someone that buys into them or doesn't see the hole in them, and there's natural self-doubt here coming in by the fact that I can't think of any of these sporting cliches, of which there are many millions.
They wanted it more. All Ireland final.
These
they
are all
wanted
the same, aren't they? Like, they're all basically, they mean the same thing.
Quite GAA,
Yeah, well, definitely someone was, someone had more hunger than another.
Well, that's hurling.
Yeah.
That's how every hurling game is decided.
Yeah. And yet, I do think that sometimes it is.
Well, this is the problem with cliche.
They definitely come from somewhere.
Absolutely. It's just the overuse, I think, kills them in particular.
Yeah.
Some of them that just don't make sense as well. Like, and they're kind of superfluous. The term, it's a recent addition, and by recent I mean like last 10, 15 years. But where and why foot race came into the vernacular of sport, I don't know. Like, it's just a race. What else are they racing on? They're not going down their hands. They're not on their backs. They're not doing a crab run. It's like foot race. Why? But there's I don't know if anybody, I get sent these from time to time, which is there's an account called Brian's Gun, named in honour, I think, of the former Norwich keeper, which does compilations of these kind of sayings, and some of them are just amazing. He did one just dedicated to bang average, people just saying bang average over and over again. There was other ones where somebody was described over and over again as a Rolls Royce of a player.
Yeah, I use that phrase.
You do, actually.
Potential banana skin was a great one recently.
Oh, yeah.
That's a compilation.
Can I tangent off on this?
It's a banana skin or it's not.
Yeah, indeed.
Brian's Gun, right, this has nothing to do with this topic whatsoever, but if anyone ever hasn't seen it, right, the best compilation video about 2 or 3 months ago, it was a collection of John Virgo clips saying, "Where's the cue ball going?"
Oh, it's immaculate.
Right? And they had to admit, like, honestly, he must have went through hours and hours and hours of snooker footage, and the video was just bald footballers. So it was like Tamori Ketsbaya kicking the thing. It's like, what's the cue ball doing?
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, bald footballers with John Virgo said, "Where's the cue ball going?" And it's honestly, do you know what? It was like 3 minutes, and it was like, this is what the internet was for.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. Some people bemoan the internet, but how could you do so with such like art out there?
Always
change the subject there. Apologies.
Thoroughly enjoyable viewing when a big pot's been made, and Virgo says, "But where's the cue ball going?"
I know.
And
he's never wrong. The cue ball's always going into the pocket.
Yeah.
Whenever he says that shit.
Yeah.
You haven't seen it yet. They're only on the screw.
Snooker commentary is really good.
Yeah.
The snooker commentary I see, I'm sure there's average.
John Virgo didn't do the COVID year because I think he lived in Spain and he was immunocompromised and didn't want to come over, and he was so missed.
Yeah.
Oh, he was so missed. He's the best. He's the best of them, I think.
Anyway, that's for a slight tangent. 53106, your most irritating cliches, because I'm struggling to think of them now that the pressure's on.
Yeah, a couple came to mind and immediately left my mind there while other people were talking. I should just for people not watching on radio, or for people only listening on radio and not watching the YouTube. Richie's very much dressed like a cat burglar today, which I find is caught by the very man who set out to catch him.
What are you up to after the show, Richie?
I wouldn't mind, Mick, but please stop putting my extracurricular activities on the air. I'm trying to conduct my business with a modicum of quietness and stealth, and you're not helping.
For any law enforcement listening into this here show.
The reason that we decided to speak to Graham Hunter, by the way, after 9 is that Barcelona had the chance to go 10 points clear at the top of La Liga at the weekend because Real Madrid had drawn 1-1 with Atleti, and Barcelona subsequently lost to Almeria, lowly Almeria, and Xavi came out and said his team were a disgrace. They didn't show any interest in winning, and they play Real Madrid in the Copa del Rey Thursday, first of 2 legs, plus they'll play in the league in the next couple of weeks as well. So El Clasico is about to really blossom over the next month or so Graham will fill us in. Like I said, Brian O'Driscoll with us this hour, and he's going to give us, we spoke to him earlier on, we can't give you the full chat, we'll give you a good chunk of it. He spoke to us with the full chat available at the podcast, obviously. But he gave us a masterclass in the things that are going on at centre on the back of Gary Ringrose being so sorely missed, and the level of bluffery and poker that's at play, and giving each other the eyes and doing one thing one time, and all with the view to in 2 moments' time or 3 moments' time doing something different. It's all these traps are being laid at every turn. It was really interesting. And then he said some people are just unpredictable. Like Freddie Michalak, doesn't matter. It's, who knows?
Yeah.
Even Freddie doesn't know.
I always find it fascinating, though, how much is going on at top level sport. Because we all played sport. You played sport at a fairly decent level. You know what I mean? But like there is, there's the game, and there's a lot of intrinsic things that you do understand from playing it all your life that you might not even realise you're thinking about. But when you talk to these guys in detail, how much is going on? What I see Gary Ringrose doing is enough to fill my brain without him also like having mind games with his opposite number and planning 3-4 moves ahead. That's something that you think of in a game, in a static game, in something like snooker, or like that's what you hear. Oh, he's 3-4 shots ahead. It's like, right, I wouldn't be able to do that, but I understand where you're coming from. How do you do it in a game like rugby?
No, a lot of variables going on.
Yeah, but that's constant. Even like talk to football people, talk to rugby people or whatever, like that have played at top, really, really top level. It's a different sport, like it's in terms of their understanding of the game and how they play it, rather than what us plebs do watching it or playing it at the weekend.
Yes, well, thankfully Brian O'Driscoll in the studio to explain further.
He wasn't bad.
No, the Newsround brought to you with Gillette Labs for an effortless finish to your day. So this Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano situation entering into the realm of saga, Richie.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Katie Taylor's proposed homecoming fight is off. Matchroom Boxing confirmed today that her opponent, Amanda Serrano, has suffered an injury that will prevent her from fighting on the scheduled date of May 20th. Discussions are ongoing to establish a revised date for that fight.
What's actually going on here?
I would say she's probably weighed up Serrano, the gate receipts that are to be had from the Three Arena versus the gate receipts that could be had from somewhere like Croke Park or Porky Queeve, and thought she would be a mug to settle for the Three Arena. And to be fair, she would. If she's getting any cut at the gate, it'd be foolish to go for the smaller venue for this rematch.
Yeah, but look, I mean, prices are going to be more expensive in the Three Arena than they are in Croke Park. There's obviously going to be a huge rental fee, and also these two were in the fight of the year last year, and it's TV is where the money's really going to be made. I don't know what the exact difference in purse would be, but I wonder, does Amanda Serrano care whether it's in Croke Park or whether the Three Arena? I can't imagine it's that much of a difference in the gate, in her fee, her purse, versus depending on where it is.
Would you not think so?
Well, it probably is a bit, but again, I just think that this is such an anticipated rematch. Surely there's negotiations that she could make outside of what the amount of people that are paying in. You know what I mean? It's going to have a huge worldwide TV audience.
I still don't think you leave any money on the table in that regard, though. And for a short career as it is in boxing, and both fighters are probably coming to the end of theirs. If you're leaving any money on the table, you're probably being foolhardy in this one, because it is an extra. We have to remind ourselves that women's purses haven't been what men's purses have been, certainly in the last ever. So for them to get any kind of extra on this, especially when it would be an increased gate, is probably within their rights to do so.
Well, look, she may well just be injured.
She could be, yeah.
Lads,
The fact that we're even questioning that just shows you that, like, boxing set a date, an announcement for May 20th. There was an argument over the venue, and nobody really thought that was set in stone. And I think that might be the only mainstream sport where that's the case.
Okay.
We have a fight announced, and it might not happen.
We're coming up on 2 months away from the event, and even if it was going ahead, there was no date there was no word on a venue, and there was no word for tickets going on sale, which for any kind of event is just madness. So I think it was quite clear that this, really wasn't going to happen from a long way out.
texting from Graham. Just realised it's March tomorrow. Mind blown, says Graham. I know.
Spring has sprung.
Oh, March.
Yeah? March is
Pleasant
here.
smirch weather.
What does that mean?
I
It's
just
the best time of the sporting year now.
feel like
March,
it's all
April, May.
flying by. Is March the best time of sporting year?
March, April, May. I mean, this section.
Yeah.
April's a good one. You got your Masters. You got your World Snooker Championship.
You got the
Is in
GA
there.
Championship now, Rich.
Championship, yeah.
Yeah,
Peak
exactly.
Championship.
Culmination of the Premier League and the Champions League and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, April's a good one.
Heineken Champions Cup gets really good.
Favourite month, 53106.
What's the is there much in American sports going on in April?
In April, no. April's really quiet. The baseball gets going, and it's still regular season in the NBA. That kind of kicks into the playoffs in May, June.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad March is here, though. I find as I get older and older, the dark nights in this country just bug me more.
Yeah.
We should be allowed to hibernate as a species.
We were out in my back garden there, like, last week and I realised I've barely been out here other than to take out the bins since, like, November. It just sort of becomes not a part of your house that's in use for, like, long bloody winters.
Last couple of winters, as we've headed, whenever the clocks go back, that kind of period, definitely found myself going, oh, man.
Yeah.
It's a struggle now.
So, Joe.
Batten down the hatches again, fellas.
I hope everybody's feeling good this Tuesday night.
It's the opposite now. It's like, woo!
You just brought us back to the grimness of the last few months.
That's so far away. We're now into the good times. So, Dundalk is where you're bringing us next.
It is indeed, yeah. The Dundalk chairman, Sean O'Connor, says talks regarding potential investment from Hull City are on ice. Last week, Dundalk confirmed discussions were ongoing with 3 different parties, which could result in investment or indeed outright sale. Hull manager Liam Rossinier talked up the potential link-up with Dundalk last week as well, while the Hull chairman, Achon Ochali, fueled speculation of an investment in Shelburne on Friday night, having attended Friday's defeat to St. Pat's as a guest of the Tolka Park Club. O'Connor told Inside Oriel today that the links to Hull were overstated by others.
When we had conversations with Hull, I think that's apparent now. That's been well covered. But we're at a point now that at those conversations that we don't see them. We're not going to progress with them at this point. And we both kind of decided to put things on ice, and we're not going to be going forward at this point. But exactly to what I said to Dan at the time, these conversations to come and go. Certain conversations will go down a path and they won't move on. But that's the nature of this business. That's the nature of football, and that's what we expect to happen. And from how the last 7 days went with regards to that, the things that happened, they took us all by surprise. It was never as close as that was being made out in the last 7 days.
Okay, we'll watch that space. FA Cup tonight, Rich.
Yeah, Bristol City hoping to engineer one of the great FA Cup shocks tonight. The Championship club welcome Manchester City to Ashton Gate in one of 4 ties in round 5. There's an 8 o'clock start there. They have just kicked off at the Bet365 stadium. Evan Ferguson has started up front for Brighton away to Stoke. There's a 7:30 start to the meeting of Leicester and Blackburn. That's at the King Power. The only all Premier League tie of the night is at Craven Cottage and sees Fulham entertain Leeds.
Somebody has texted in to say, I'm not a particularly sporty person. Thank you for listening all the same. I'm not a particularly sporty person, but with one TV in the house, I absorb some sporting footage by osmosis. How many Match of the Day clips are there with Beautiful Day by U2 playing in the background? Says Alva in Dublin. I haven't noticed that.
Beautiful Day would be well used for an ending montage of a show. I'm not sure.
Beautiful Day was
back in the day. It was the ITV
Premiership.
exactly, yeah.
Sig tune with
The
Des
Premiership.
Lynam. That was mad. Des Lynam moved to ITV for that.
Yeah, and then sort of disappeared.
They only seem to keep that for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I think they lost the rights back to BBC
Oh, they
whenever
did,
whenever the rights
I
came
think it
back.
was 5
up,
years
but,
or something like that.
Was it
yeah.
5? I thought it was good.
It was fine. You had to
Right,
get used to the
yeah.
ad breaks, didn't you?
Oh, the ad breaks, I suppose.
Yeah.
Joe freaked me out the other week when I discovered it. It was there around Christmas time, was whenever Lineker's birthday was. Lineker, I think, is older now than Lynam was when he went to ITV.
People just age better now, though, don't they? It's
They
frightening.
really do.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Because we were watching. I'd never seen it before. We were watching Father of the Bride over Christmas.
Oh yeah, so was I.
Like Steve Martin's only like 42 or 3 in that.
I know. Yeah.
But he's like the equivalent of a 70-year-old in 2023.
By the way,
He was a ridiculously handsome man in his younger days, though. Have you ever seen a young picture of Steve Martin?
Steve Martin.
Yeah.
was he?
Woof.
Well,
Telling you.
I'm including in his 40s as in his younger days.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The other one was Mother in Home Alone.
Oh yeah.
She's 36 in Home Alone.
What?
Yeah, but she dresses like she's 56.
Catherine O'Hara, isn't that her name?
I don't
Yeah.
know. She's
Yeah.
in About Schmidt now.
Yeah.
So like people are aging. It's what's the big difference? Is it clothes?
I think it is. I think a lot of it is style and all of that, but also like I think people are just living slightly better. I would imagine.
But is it food? So what is it? In what way are you living better?
I'd imagine Gary Lineker has in every way looked after himself and
Yeah.
his body better than Des Lynam did over his.
Feel like the
I
next.
think Gary Lineker could benefit from a massive tash, though.
I do feel like there's a quantum leap with the next generation in terms of their height.
What do you mean? Everyone's going to be taller?
I feel like me and you in old age are going to be such small old men.
Well, I'm already a kind of a small old man, but
I'm not huge either. Like I think, like Richie, you'll be okay. But
I'm all right.
Richie
Yeah.
will be all right. Yeah,
I
Richie hopes this happens.
see me and Mick shuffling down O'Connell Street, and like the next generation going, God,
Yeah.
were they rations?
Steve Martin is portrayed in that film as a crazy father who is 100% right in all of his concerns. His 23-year-old daughter comes back from
it's true.
a trip away in Italy and decides she's getting married to someone no one's ever met. That's absolutely bananas, and she's portrayed as the normal person.
Is that
in this
because
film.
people got married younger in that era?
I think so, yeah, early 90s. But even so, I think that's still a little bit crazy.
Very affecting, like his sadness at losing her.
Yeah.
We won't get into it now, but
No, you're feeling it more than you used to, Joe. That's all I know.
oh dear. Right, let's get back on track.
Why not?
Is there any sport on today?
There is FA Cup there.
FA Cup there, yeah, and 5 members of the recent combined provinces squad have been included in the full Ireland squad for the women's Six Nations. Ella Roberts, Niamh O'Dowd, Sive McGrath, Fiona Tuitt and Molly Boyne all played a part in winning the inaugural Celtic Challenge earlier this month. They're among 8 uncapped players named by Greg McWilliams in a 32-player squad today. However, the likes of Bevan Parsons, Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe and Stacey Flood are all away on sevens duties. The team will again be captained by Nicola Friday, and Ireland open their campaign against Wales at Cardiff's Arms Park on the 25th of March.
I just don't know what we're doing here, really.
With the sevens, it's crazy.
Bevan Parsons, Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe, Stacey Flood, all the way in 7th duty. By the way, all of these games live on either RTE or Virgin. Huge available audience.
I love that.
Most
I love
important
that Women's
competition.
Six Nations has gone post, and that it kind of elongates the Six Nations. It doesn't bury the women's game in the weekends
Without
with
your
the under
most-
20s
well,
stuff like
one,
that.
some of your best players and then 2 of your most marketable players.
That's what I was
go.
going to say. Like Bevan Parsons and Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe are really recognisable names to even non-hardcore rugby fans, and they're not going to be there when people are going to be watching those games in a month.
It's really frustrating. So that's the Irish squad. There's been a feasibility study on female Lions tour, and the early signs are good. Rich, is that the gist?
Yeah, positive outcome or positive findings from that feasibility study. A first ever women's version of the British and Irish Lions could well soon be reality. Ireland assistant coach Niamh Briggs was part of a 13-person steering group that assessed the viability of the venture. The Lions group and the constituent unions are now working through potential structures and placement in the calendar. Quite who the opposition would be also remains up in the air, with New Zealand and France the early frontrunners from what is a pretty thin field. Chair of the steering committee, Ian Evans, explained the process they've gone through to date.
Well, it was a pretty long and robust process, but what was important, what drove this, we needed expertise and experience around the table. Broadcasters, unions, administrators from World Rugby as well, all engaged in this process, and everyone had their moment, several moments in which to engage, to contribute, to challenge, to scrutinise. And that, in essence, was what the steering group was about. It's about bringing the right people into the room to discuss this, on what is a really exciting prospect.
Last story or two, Rich, whatever you want.
Ireland will begin their 2024 Six Nations campaign away to France on Friday the 2nd of February. The venue for the game yet to be confirmed, as the Stade de France won't be available due to its preparation for the Olympics. So it'll be the first time since 1996 that an away game with France in the Six Nations will be played somewhere other than the Saint-Denis venue. Chelsea are going to be without Thiago Silva for up to 6 weeks. He picked up a knee ligament injury during Sunday's Premier League defeat to Tottenham. They've, of course, got Borussia Dortmund next week in the Champions League. And Noel Le Grat has formally resigned as president of the French Football Federation. The 81-year-old had previously been suspended over allegations of sexual misconduct, as well as a damning audit commissioned by the Sports Ministry there. Le Grat has denied any wrongdoing, but Philippe Diallo will step up from vice president to take on the role on an interim basis until June.
Okay, very good. We're out of time. Michael, see you after 8.
Away to France to start the next thing
amazing.
on a Friday night after winning the World Cup. Our Grand Slam hopes will be over straight away. There's no hope. There's no hope he'll win that game.
Won't be in Stade de France.
Well, even so, the Ireland that have won the World Cup, they'll only just be over that.
Yeah. Michael back for a slight tangent.